Oh, goodness me.
It doesn't matter if it's a power shot, trick shot, or even your standard Judd Trump positional shot, because this week we're simply looking for the best shot from the British Open. And as usual, we're going to be discovering that by attempting to recreate everything as accurately as possible and then play these shots in the fewest possible attempts. But we begin with tournament winner Mark Selby, who's in a little bit of trouble in the first frame of the final, having already missed the reds altogether twice, meaning if he missed it a third time he'd lose the frame. So he gets down on this shot and goes for the long pot, gets it, makes a 63 break and wins the opening frame. As Mark only played this shot as a last resort, I'm really not feeling that confident with this one. Well, that's gone better than expected, even though I've ever so slightly underhit it. Well, that's about as good a start as we could hope for, so let's move on to something a little bit more challenging from Neil Robertson. Fresh off his English Open win, he can't see the easy red over the pocket, so has to take on the more awkward one, but manages to pot it even though it just about goes past the other red. I'm going to have to be pretty accurate with this one, and it looks like you have to play it fairly firm. I'm not 100% sure this is the way I'd have played it. I'd probably have just tried to roll it in for the black, but I've got it and nearly got the white back high enough for the blue. It's not too bad. That puts Chris Totten 2 frames to 0 behind before he manages to get this excellent long red. Not bad for your first pot of the match. He then follows it up with a 79 break as well to take the frame, but then loses the match 4 frames to 1. I think this is a good time to point out I'm still not 100% confident with my tip. It just hasn't quite bedded in yet, and it's meaning the shots I'm missing are missing by a lot further. I don't think it's affecting the shots I'm playing well that much, so I should get it in the same amount of attempts. It's just when I miss one, I miss it by a long way, or horribly miscue like I just have there. But let's not take anything away from just how tough this shot is, and even under normal conditions, I would have expected it to take a little longer than this. John Higgins was excellent this week getting through to the final, as you can see with reds like this. However, he just ran out of steam in the end against an in-form Mark Selby. With this one, the green's in the way of the potting angle to the middle pocket, so you have to take it on to the far corner, and I've just realised after my first attempt that you have to play it with a small amount of right hand side to get the cue ball back safe, which is tough digging down at the shot and causing me to find the angle a little bit difficult to work out for the first few shots. I've got it now and got the cue ball back nearly to the right place, just couldn't hit it hard enough in the end. If you want proof of how good Mark Selby was playing, then take a look at this long red. Not only is it a difficult pot, he manages to get it and screw the cue ball all the way back to the baulk cushion, safe in case he missed. But as he didn't miss, he gave himself a shot on the brown, which he was able to take, get down the table, and go on to make an 85 break and take the frame. This is definitely going to be the hardest one yet, because even if I pot the red, I can't guarantee I'm going to screw the cue ball back far enough. I've got it though, and actually got the white. I'm really happy to get that quickly. Arguably, this Luca Brecel shot is as good as the Mark Selby one, possibly even better. We'll work that bit out in a minute. He pots this long red and screws the cue ball back safe again. He then takes the frame and then eventually the match 4 frames to 2 before losing out to Jack Jones in the 4th round. The good news is I've just played a very similar shot and I'm starting to get used to my tip. It's definitely a lot more predictable than it was at the beginning of this, and hopefully if I can just keep getting the red close to the pocket, I'll pot one, because I seem to be screwing the cue ball back enough. There's no way I'd try this in a game because I simply wouldn't have the cue power under normal conditions, but I'm pleased again to get it so quickly. Oliver Lyons had a string of great results on the way to the semi-finals, where he faces off here against John Higgins. He needs snookers in this first frame, and manages to play the pink into the jaw of the middle pocket, getting it back down the table, and gets the snooker in behind the black at the same time. John still manages to win this frame, however, but it's such a creative shot, I wanted to have a go at it. And I might have got it first time as well, had I not have mistakenly potted the pink. To play this shot, you just need to find that correct angle to stick the pink onto the jaw, and then it's just a well-controlled stun shot. This looks pretty good, and I've stopped nicely in behind the black. I'm pleased with that one. Not to be outdone, John Higgins plays a really creative shot of his own in the semi-finals, where he manages to cannon the black, knocking it into the correct position to get the snooker. This is another one I wanted to see how easy it was to play, because as soon as I saw it come up I didn't have a clue, so let's have a go. That felt alright, and in fact I nearly got the snooker, but I just hit across the red way too much. The red's supposed to go up by the green, and I'm hitting it nearly half ball, way too thin to get the shot I'm trying to play. There's no way I would have even seen this in a match, and there's little chance of me getting it perfect here. I've played this way too slow, but I've got the snooker, and I don't think I'm going to do any better, so I'll stick with this. World champion Kyren Wilson plays this cocked hat double now, on his way to taking a 3-0 lead against Marco Fu. Kyren will win the match by 4 frames to 0 before losing out to Elliot Salesa in the 4th round. I'm usually the worst at judging these shots, as previous videos have shown, but I've hit it more or less straight and it's somehow gone in. I might miss the next 20, but I'm taking that. On to Mark Allen next, who's run out of position whilst trying to make a 147. Where is that noise coming from? Anyway, he's not fazed by this and manages to play a plant into the side cushion and get the double back into the other middle pocket. But it's a great shot, and he followed it up by making a 147 maximum break, so you can't argue with it. Although the real question is, can you actually play it? And judging off my first few attempts, I'm going to say possibly, but with extreme difficulty. Not only have you got to set this up right, and I cannot explain how difficult it was to get these balls in the correct position in the first place, and I think I've got it more or less spot on, but I've also got to judge the shot perfectly. I've got a few close here, and it's looking promising, but the difficulty I'm having is I'm playing the shot with a small tracer left-hand side, and if I don't quite get the speed right, then the red either goes too high or too low by quite a bit. And annoyingly, it's a problem I keep getting wrong, but I can't really complain because it's a shot I would never have actually seen in a game. Although I'm close here, it's not quite gone in. I would have probably tried to play some sort of plant into the corner pocket, which almost certainly wouldn't work. I think it's the hardest shot I've played, and as I finally got it, the next decision should be fairly easy. The Kyren Wilson shot's good, but the frame's already over, so it only gets 3. Whereas the Mark Allen shot, the frame's just about still live, and he gets a 147 off the back of it. So it gets 5, it's this week's winner, and it's going to take some beating. We haven't seen much of Judd Trump yet, and that's possibly because he's more concerned about getting his 1000th career century in this tournament. This one's for 999, and he pots the black with a lot of side spin to get the cue ball round the yellow. This is an accurate shot, but it doesn't feel that difficult. It's just about getting into the cue ball enough, and I think I've got away with it. Just about hit it hard enough. How about this for a long red from Robert Milkins? He's got a tough first round match against Judd Trump, so this red really should help. Unfortunately, he doesn't get nicely in position off this and ends up losing the frame and then eventually the match 4 frames to 1. Even though I have to throw my cue at these a little bit, my tip seems to be working at least well enough to allow me to get close now, which is a big improvement. Okay, maybe not. Although it'd probably be alright now if I just stopped complaining about it and got on with it, because I'm really not too far away here with most of these. And it's not exactly like it's an easy shot. It requires a lot of power to generate enough backspin, and that makes pushing your cue through straight enough really challenging. I've got it, the white's not quite in the right place, and I think it took too many attempts. Kyren Wilson manages to pot this brown and screw the cue ball onto the baulk cushion, getting it back down the table with a tracer left hand side. It's going to be interesting on my table if I'm actually able to hit this one hard enough to allow me to play this shot. I'll be happy with anything that gets below the blue spot. As you've just seen, the difficulty with this one is if you push your cue through far enough, you double hit the white, and that makes it difficult to get enough of a reaction out the cue ball because I have to jump out the way. This is about as well as I can hit it. It hasn't gone in the middle of the table, but I have got low of the blue spot, so that's about the best I can do. Stephen Maguire's snookered now, but makes an excellent escape around 3 cushions. Looking at the table, there doesn't seem to be a lot of danger here, but he plays this one absolutely perfectly and couldn't have got the weight much better. So let's see if I can follow his line. I think the left-hand side is going to be crucial here to get on the right place on the 3rd cushion so I can avoid the pink. I didn't have the line too far out here, but I was quite a way short of pace. This looks better and I might have got it. I really can't argue with that one, that's pretty decent. Before the next one, let's just quickly find Dimitri, who's in Prosper, Texas, which is there. Mark Allen's trying to out Judd Trump next, whilst winning the 5th frame against Judd Trump. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that in. Nobody's going to notice this deep into a video. He plays this really well off 2 cushions, a bit fortunate with a double kiss that he leaves it on, but let's see if we can give it a go. The good thing about this shot is it appears to be a completely natural angle, and all Mark Allen really did is hit this plain ball fairly hard. I've got to see if I can hit it a little bit harder though, because although I was on the pink there quite nicely, I hadn't pushed it on and double kissed it. After my 2nd attempt, however, I'm starting to wonder if it's possible on my table to hit it hard enough. You've really got to give it some power to get the pink to hit the top cushion, and that's about as hard as I can possibly hit it. I haven't quite got the double kiss here, though I'm taking this because I don't think it could have gone any better. After only just finishing in a potable position on the pink, Mark Allen manages to pot it, play the cue ball around the angles, round the back of the black, and finish in position so he doesn't even have to move his feet. This is really impressive, and I want to see if I can give it a go. I'm not exactly sure just how much side spin this shot's going to need, so the first few shots are going to be a little bit of an experiment. That's not too far away, but I've caught the middle jaw and hit it a little bit too slow, so I have to increase the power here. This time I've missed the middle pocket, and somehow I've managed to pull it off. I thought that would take me a lot more attempts than that, so I'm pretty pleased with this one. It's been a bit of a mixed bag with this tournament. Some shots I played well, some I didn't, so it's good to end up on a bit of a high. Well, that's the British Open over and done with, and remember you can vote for your favourite shot using the link in the description, but we've also got more tournaments coming thick and fast, so if you want to see some previous tournaments you may have missed, have a look at these 2 videos, and remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.